Hey, Phoenixes are rising. Coach T here, doing this for the second time because I didn't like the vibe of the first one. Let's get into it. The prayer, Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Psalms 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling, for he shall give his angels charge over thee. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder. The young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and shew him my salvation. Amen. All right. Sorry about that, you guys. I know it's hard. I'm going through some stuff. I'll share it with you guys in a moment. Just to let you guys know, I am open for coaching sessions, offering right now on Fiverr. You can go to my link tree. 35 minutes. It's a get it off my chest session for $40. And you would actually be helping a homeless person. So we don't lose our gifts because of our social status. Remind yourself of that. We don't lose our gifts because of our social status or the lack of. So I am a transitional coach and a NARC coach, and I have survived over 20 years total, but 10 years, 12 years of gang stalking and witchcraft by the Norteños and their allies, and whatever else is going on. Gang stalking is real, and unfortunately, I'm facing homelessness again. Not because I didn't learn my lessons, not because I don't practice what I preach, but because I do. And at least I'm leaving some nuggets and I'm leaving some discussions. And, with you guys, I just uploaded about, I think it was 12 or 16, just little nuggets that I had collected throughout the week that I hadn't posted yet, and just got them something saying, just get them up. Because tomorrow morning we are checking out at maybe by noon, actually, but we're checking out and we're going on another journey, and it actually does break my heart. But as a Black lesbian who was on the streets at 40, I coach. Focus on coaching 30 to 50-year-olds, Black lesbian and trans women, studs, because we don't have that space. And what I'm seeing in the world right now is a Roman Colosseum show, kind of a, Roman, the gladiators and everything else. And what stirred this in me, the topics, housing as a weapon. Let's cover that first. Jordan Neely, Michael Jackson impersonator and dancer, mother passed away, murdered, and stuffed in a suitcase, and he was only 14 when that happened. And that messed him up. Now that messes you up on a soul level, right? So anything that happens with our minds, with our physical bodies, is due to an energetic malfunction, an energetic pollutant. And when we don't have the opportunity, the resources to get that, to get the healing that we need, to talk to somebody about it, it stays with us and it festers. And it grafts itself in as if it belongs, and it makes our body, our vessel, our organs, some emotions energetically, energies attached to organs. I've been clearing my chakra for the last few days because these witches, and I don't like calling them a noble name, but these occultists, these Satanists, these demons, have been sending energy to influence me to feel a certain way because I'm about ready to be homeless, so that they could feed off of it. But so I've cleared my chakra. Not everybody knows how to clear their chakras. Not everybody knows what a chakra is, let alone mantra in general. They don't know that. So when you don't have resources and you don't have people who are willing to help you, right? Like I said, we meet people's energy, and some people have met our energy and immediately they have devised a plan to try and get free from us. What, some type of fulfillment that they might not get if they just asked, right? So people don't like it when you set boundaries with them. They'll force themselves onto you. And they will try, and from that point on, and here's the thing, we got to understand this spiritual battle. We got to understand the spiritual battle because it is deep and it is thick. I would never in a million years think that I would have two Satanists follow me to continue to sabotage me, to continue to rally people against me, not even for politics, just because this person actually went about in a hard way to try to get my duffel bag or my backpack. It's because I had colognes and everything else. This person is a hoarder. They like what other people have. I've talked about this person before, Olga Texador, Christy Valencia. She was literally here Thursday and went past my hotel room. Do you know how, I'm not scared, but I know that the Most High God knows my personality. So I'm grateful that I have spiritual gifts, because this person thought that they were literally going to do a drive-by psychic attack. And I smelt them. I smelt the air, the fragrance that they were going by the laundry room, whatever they were, you know what I mean? So when you leave yourself open to attack somebody psychically, and they are also clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, right? And you're attacking them, right? So basically which is absolutely absurd. Why would you go past somebody and literally throw your consciousness of anger, your rage, because what she said was die, and she was trying to attack um my brain, my little, like, make me go crazy or something. It was because I could just feel it like a thump, like somebody would hit you, hit you with something, a blunt object. And then she scattered. It didn't last very long. There's other times that this person has stunk to absolute high flipping heaven. And it's a demonic aura. It's a demonic smell. It's not just in a demonic aura. It's a smell. When you house demons, and the demons of your wounds sit in your body. They're not healed. They fester. Now, a lot of us, we choose, okay, I'm just going to be happy. It's that happiness. That's our saving grace. Right? That's our saving grace, because God will come in, the Most High and your spiritual team will come in and heal what they can until you get into a place that is helpful. But when you have demonic forces that are blocking you and keeping you away from that, because now they want to puppet you, they want to dog walk you, which is what I believe was happening with Jordan Neely, where people were fine with him when he was entertaining them and smiling, beautiful, gorgeous, cute smile. And he was doing his Michael Jackson gig. And, it's not like the Hollywood Superman and the Wonder Woman when you see them on down there, and they get kind of aggressive because, they're doing it. And it's like, okay, but but here's a guy who was homeless and had trauma from his mom being brutally murdered at 14. And nobody cared. And so he laughed it off. He channeled that hurt, that pain through Michael Jackson, who, ironically was unalived by Hollywood, by narcissistic sociopaths, because they wanted what he had. They had pegged him for being a dumb black man with issues because he had been traumatized as a child as well. They feed off of our trauma. They think that we are pliable and that they can puppeteer us and dog walk us, and because we're unhealed. So the whole goal is to not get us healed. The whole goal is to not get us housed. That's why I've been sick to my stomach, because I know that tomorrow afternoon, there's no coming back. I already know that I'm a goner. So when I literally just heard the story about him, I think it was Thursday, and it broke my heart, and I broke down and cried, because I know that when you're sitting there crying, you're screaming at the top of your lungs, help me. Don't just laugh at me. Don't just take the medium of being a entertaining impersonator, and to channel the hurt, the pain, the anguish that I feel about being marginalized and erased literally from society. Help me. He couldn't dance anymore. He spoke what he needed. He used his voice. And he was unalive for it. And I tell you something, if you've never been homeless, if you have never been homeless, you don't know how it feels, because people are throwing stereotypes at you left and right. And sometimes it's not even cognitive dissonance that they're trying to work through. They need you to have a place. They need you to have a label. They need to let everybody know where in the grocery store you belong. Somebody may buy you. Somebody may rent you. And God forbid, when I was on the streets the first time, There were only two options that I was given. There was no nonprofit that was going to help me. When we become homeless and we're forced to stay there, it is a humiliation ritual that is being done on us. Unfortunately, sometimes we change and we heal and we grow and we get to that next level in our spirit. And I did everything that I still teach because it works. Not everybody has the people that won't leave me alone. Not everybody has the type of gang stalking, socio psychopaths that I'm dealing with. Not everybody has them. And it's, I wanted to finish telling my story and I didn't get to, not going to get to. But because somebody is mad that I am free from them or that I rejected them. I mean, like how after 3 years, and this is what I've talked to you Phoenixes about. Stop carrying grudges. Stop entertaining people who are giving you ultimatums so that way you're negotiating with terrorists. I was taken off of a site because I wasn't attractive, because I wasn't manipulatable, because I was voicing my stresses, and also because some people were under attack themselves. I remember I had one coworker who said that it feels like there's a demon in, and she said it without any I don't know this woman from Adam, and I really didn't like her, still don't. But I mean, everybody's allowed to exist. See, when the difference between Phoenix is Rising and narcissistic sociopaths is that when we don't like somebody, we don't try and destroy their whole lives in a sadistic, malicious, demonic manner until they either off themselves, are homeless and off themselves, and can be prostituted, or somebody unalives them. Like what happened to Jordan Neely, because he expressed himself. Because he got tired of being your clown. How dare he open his mouth to say, I am tired of being homeless. I am tired of not eating. I am tired because because when you're an entertainer, you're impersonating, they want, it's like slavery. People get all mad about the human zoos, but when you're doing impersonations and whatever, and you're doing Elvis and you're doing, Superman and stuff like that, unless you got a contract to get paid, so such and such and such and such, you're doing it for basically for free. People, even musicians, are down there with their guitar cases, hoping that somebody's going to put some money in there. You may even put some money in there to let them know, like, yeah, I want you to give me money. I'm trying to get something to eat because I'm on the streets. They had weaponized his right to housing and stuck him out there until he snapped. And I know what that feels like, and it broke my heart. I mean, it beyond broke my heart, because I'm like, and I got so mad because people now all of a sudden you want to march in the streets because you've had your Jesus now. Now Jesus was sacrificed. A version of Jesus, Jesus, whatever what you want to, Yeshua, whatever you want to call him, was sacrificed for your entertainment in the Roman Colosseum. I mean, it was a sacrifice. It literally was, because there was not just the white guy. Has been focused, from what I've read on, and the videos that I've seen, on the white guy. There was a black guy who was holding his arms tight because you could see his veins popping. Jordan's veins were popping, trying to get loose from that guy so he could get loose from the headlock, so he could breathe. How do you do that? How do people live with themselves? People today are so, I don't even know if it's anesthetized. I don't know if that's the right word. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. I called 211 to try and get ahead of what I knew was coming for me last week. And I was grateful just to be able to work. And I tried, I said, I don't have it in me. I've said this, I don't have it in me, but I'm going to do the best that I can. I just got a second job, and the sabotage, cluster B personalities will sabotage you once they know, since I've been here, I have only been at this new place for 7 months. Immediately got a job, immediately had gotten housing. I wasn't supposed to be in the hotel, and somebody sabotaged me. Once they found out that I was serious and moved and was waiting to hand in the paperwork and get the okay, because I'd already done most of the application. So once they had gotten that, that confirmation that I was about, and because I wish I would have recorded her voice. She says to me, she goes, "Oh, you're here?" I said, "Yes." And I'm not kidding. It was that same day she later texted me and said, "I'm going to refund your money. You can reapply later." Now, I don't know if this woman is a cluster B cocktail, but she's toxic. Because it literally shocked me, and like, I was like, okay, well, I can't trust this. Right? So here I am, I'm thinking, okay, I can work. As long as I'm working, I'm okay. Then I had to deal with the witchcraft and sabotage of me having a job. When you have stalkers who will watch your YouTube anytime you come on, attack you because you're making a living for yourself and you've literally moved on, and they will do witchcraft to cause chaos and havoc, and then feed off of that because they're thinking, well, I'm getting revenge on you. No, you signed your death certificate a long time ago, and you're trying to extend the time between when you are met with justice and my demise, because I can be on the streets, but I know where I'm going. I don't like being on the streets. I didn't earn to be on the streets. I didn't earn to be on the streets the first time, but especially I took that L and I learned. The loss became a learning lesson. What the thing with these cluster B personalities and their ability to get amnesia and, hold on to their delusions, so they'll never have to face what really is. And unfortunately, homeless people like Jordan Neely, myself, we don't get to share those emotions. And one thing I've realized since I've been here is people don't give a shit how you feel. Like I'm wondering, like, how do people get into relationships Like, I was listening to some coworkers talk about their relationships, and I'm thinking to myself, how do you guys get into relationships? Because you're not talking about anything deep. I'm a deep thinker. I don't like surface conversations. I don't like small talk. How do you even, if the only thing you want is sex, why would you expect somebody to take responsibility of something? Because all you're wanting is sex. You're not wanting a responsible person to partner with. All you want is to have sex, or all you want is to siphon energy. That's it. You know? So I've been really, perplexed about that. I was like, because there's nobody that I could go to. I was even laughed at again here, and I said, gosh, it feels like the same thing all over again. I know we're in Mercury retrograde. It does not come out. We don't go out of it and for another 2 weeks. And it sucks. It sucks because I did what I was supposed to do for me as an adult. Because I wanted to help. I want to help the Jordan Neelys. But somebody is trying to write my story, and you will find that with cluster B personalities. They will sabotage you if it doesn't go, if the ending of the chapter isn't what they want it to be. They will sabotage you. My new beginning was supposed to be when I was obedient to the Most High God and moved and found that person at the McDonald's on several different occasions. Again, like I said, I mean, there's been three attempts on my life, and I mean I'm still like I was in prayer. I was talking to God. I have God talks, and I asked the Most High God, I was like, what would make somebody? I know you're stalking me. I know you could see me. I know that you're on the trolley when I go there. I know, you know what I mean? But I don't focus on that, because I know if I see you, I am not going to control my rage. You killed my family and animals. This person, unalived people and sentient beings like my dogs that I loved, and I still love, to try and get me to feel guilt and shame. My mother was unalived by one of my sisters for insurance money. I was homeless. I was working 66 hours a week, standing on my feet, doing 12-hour shifts, walking at least. My feet were so swollen, I couldn't see my ankles. So when people accuse us who are homeless of not doing, of only being prostitutes or being drug addicts or alcoholics, no, that comes when you're on the streets, and once they know that you're fresh, they're going to try and get you. I already know what I'm in store for. It doesn't make me happy. The first time it was assumed that I was somehow a prostitute. Olga Texador wanted to make me a prostitute. She had all right, the mic clicked off because Prosperity wanted some loving. And she's like, why are you upset, Ma? Because this wasn't supposed to be our new beginning. Somebody is rewriting our story. So, yeah, Olga Texador. I've talked about her, and I mean, like I don't know. I mean, Christy Valencia, the same thing. I've met people like Mary Jane, who is a part of that cult. And it gets, and I just, it's hard. It's hard when you know your purpose and you are constantly challenged. I had to look up how many times Yeshua Isa was accused by people who were intimidated by him and his light because he couldn't be controlled either. When you can't be controlled, Phoenixes, the narcissist, the cluster B personality, whether and I don't really think that there's anything valid. Like even at my job, I told one of my coworkers, I think it was last month or something like that. It's like, oh, I said they're gonna get rid of me, and I knew because of the culture and the climate. When you're having to pay for overtime, as the word was, I mean, there was a sickness there, very much so. Not as bad as and I again, you try and always go within first. I always go within. Okay, how can I be better, right? But I know that I am under spiritual attack. I have somebody who's trying to create chaos everywhere that I go, trying to get people to not like me because I rejected them. And gosh, they're going to get, I've said this before, with cluster B personalities, they're obsessed with having their way with you. Even though I intellectually understand it, I don't understand it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I don't, I after a while there has to be a cutoff. But this one person has been stalking me and trying to take on my identity and or unalive me or do whatever she's wanted with me, because this is what her Mexican, the cult that she belongs to, does. They teach you how to insidiously manipulate and dog walk people from a spiritual perspective. This is why I tell you, when you wake up in the morning, get on your prayers and meditation. Because 9 times out of 10, you've already been attacked while you were sleeping because they don't want to do their work. Cluster B personalities are lazy and immature. They always want to have the upper hand, every single one of them. Christy would attack me while I was sleeping, and I would see her in my dreams. I don't have an attraction towards this woman who has an STD. I'm not attracted to her. And that is what made her mad. How dare you not be attracted to me? How dare you? She was even mad when I had paid for a night for somebody, my own people, my Black people. This is a Hispanic woman. And I've already gone, if you guys haven't already, go listen to the discussion called Mammy. I kept it simple because we have to understand not all POCs are POC. They're white supremacists. And so far, the people that I have met have all been Hispanic. And this sect of this culture that is under the currents, they're there, and it's like you would never tell. I was thinking about that. I was like, looking at this woman, Mary Jane, and she acts like she's not done anything. Like you're not a part of sex trafficking, or allowing pimps to have their prostitutes here. You're not calling the sex trafficking line. You're selling drugs here, but now it's been clear. Now you don't get it. I used to smell marijuana the whole time, and everybody, she would come here and visit them, or collect. I don't know what she was doing, but I just noticed that I was like, oh gosh, she's here all the time. This is before I made, 2 and 2, because when I started or put 2 and 2 together, because I was like, okay, why do I keep smelling this? When people are in my energy, I smell their addiction. This person is addicted to food, to sweets, especially, and marijuana. So, with Christy, she has an STD. So anytime she's in my energy, I start itching.
Olga is in a psychosis. I mean, like I don't know if you can come out of a psychosis, but she's there and she stinks to high heaven. So when this person is in my energy, I smell that demonic aura, and I start itching, and I mean, like there's tweakers. I mean, I've sometimes, with your spiritual gifts are there for a reason, but sometimes when people keep doing it because they know that you're not in the flesh with them, they're at a distance, right? They keep doing it, right? So that's why I teach you guys these words of power that you can speak over yourself as it's happening. But unfortunately for my situation, I have people who are absolutely obsessed, because why would this black lesbian, black is the key word, reject us? How dare she? She's nothing but the N word. I don't know these people from Adam. I didn't get to know Christy. I didn't get to know Olga. I didn't get to know Mary Jane. It was revealed to me by the Most High God that she was also a part of the attacks, even though she wasn't there, in person. She was projecting. So she had a lot to do with it. And I know that sounds crazy for a lot of people who aren't awake. You don't know your gifts. So everything that I say in regards to spiritual warfare and the type of things that I have seen demons coming off these people. The monitoring spirit that's always sent to me, that's as an attachment, I saw that thing when it came. And this was way back in 2019. It took me until 2021 to get it off of me. And I literally had to go from intermittent fasting to starvation. And I would keep doing that until we got out of Sacramento. But again, these cluster B personalities, this demonic, these principles and principalities that are working through certain races, certain cultures and countries that have these types of systems in play, right? If you're doing witchcraft over you getting a boyfriend or getting a girlfriend or getting a job, I tell you something, when that glamour spell wears off, they sure do look ugly. They look horrendous. We are surrounded by people who are involved in the occult and conjuring demons to get ahead. So it's never going to be fair for us. And right now, housing is being used as a manipulation tool in food and water. Relationships, you know how flippin' lonely it is to be homeless and have people just discard you and erase you like you're not a human being? It hurts, people. It hurts. If we were to assimilate into whatever new world order is taking place now, because there has been a paradigm shift and it's been taking place, and we see the people, but people don't want to understand because it's not whiteness. I've said this before, it's not white people who are acting and kicking up dust now. They're actually the victims right now. And I know that is so hard to fathom for people who are so used to that paradigm. But that is not what is happening. That is not what is taking place. And you are literally either a part of the problem or you are the solution. Jordan Neely needed somebody to help him, and everybody stood by. How damn fearful can you be? And I know that there is consequences for sticking up and saying something. I just got through that with one of the companies that I was working for. And I decided, I'm not working for you anymore. You are a cluster B, malignant, narcissistic organization. I'm not doing this. Where I have to now fear whether or not if I say how I say something or if I talk. And I told them right in the meeting, it's like, it doesn't matter if I talk or if I don't talk. You guys are literally looking for a way now to just keep messing with me. You don't want me to collect unemployment. So what they'll do is they'll reassign you. And reassignment can take over a month. I went to an interview for another job, with another company. And one, when they heard that I was coming from Allied Universal, they cringed. So I have no, I mean, you guys already know me. I'm going to say the name because if you have other companies who, she said, we usually don't hire you because you guys have poor, basically poor work ethics, you know? And that's what I've seen. Everybody at that company is either, gang affiliated. You got the tats and everything else. They're in that cult. I've seen the red and black, Santa Muerte demon worship. Right? And which brings me to the black zombies. One thing that I have noticed more and more and more is that this new world order has a lot of unfortunately, it seems like, it has a lot of black people who have sold their souls. So when I was at the other place, this is what I mean. It's like, so I was at the job. They had, told me to come in. They were supposed to do investigation. The lady lied and told them that I called her a bitch. Da, 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 da. It was basically that they didn't want me to come in. They didn't want me to come back. So I allowed myself to be pushed into something and I didn't allow myself. It's when you have somebody who was projecting a lot of trauma and chaos and anger because they're angry and they want you to get upset and it's sabotage. That's what I heard. I heard the demon say sabotage, sabotage, and that was Christy. I mean, you get so high in your spiritual awareness with your gifts become more and more and more acute that you can just pinpoint, because you're literally hearing whatever that demonic creature is casting or rituals that they're performing. You're putting it together, but it's been a trip going through, but I've had to go since I've been with the company. Since I had been with the company, they were trying to sabotage me from jump. So that I kept telling them, it's like, you guys keep trying to make me homeless. I'm not going to mince my words, but here's one thing that got me the other day when she was talking to me. She said, well, you gotta, I forget how she worded it. She just said, well, you just go there and you just to get a paycheck. You're not there it's not personal. It is personal. And that's so they were stonewalling and minimizing. And at the end of it, when I left, I shook the HR's hand, because I wanted to look her in her eyes. There was a method to my madness. And because they thought that they thought that they, got over on me. And I was like, no, because I recorded the whole thing and they knew it. But when the black woman I grabbed her, but I saw her looking at me with such eyes of hate, like I've seen in my stalkers. Like there's nothing back there. Like she was just so hateful and just so, like it was weird. But I noticed, like, there's a saying that says, oh, the melanin's popping. Well, her melanin wasn't popping, it was dry. Because she was being harvested. So the thing that I thought on my way back, because I was disappointed and I had to shake that crap off of me. And then when I got back, the hotel employee was like, oh, hey, Kanika, oh yeah, but this person can't come back. So somebody, I guess her boss had told her that, this person can't come back. And it was weird because she had already told this person before that she couldn't be rented to. And I'm like, okay, what did I do a time warp? What happened? And So I had to, it was just too much of this. You're being disrespectful, right? Because right now what I'm feeling and seeing is that unless we allow ourselves to become food energetically for other people, we're going to be homeless. We're going to be isolated. They're going to try and unalive us. Okay? That's what my spidey senses are saying. Like I'm not looking forward to, because I have a feeling that it's going to be 10 times worse. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not relying on the most high God, but I also know how the most high God works. There's not somebody who's going to come out of the sky and save me. If men and women's hearts are hardened, God can't get through. If I am stuck in a state of fear, if my crown chakra, my third eye chakra are closed, I can't hear the next direction. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's chaos, and they are doing heavy, heavy, heavy magic globally. Right? I mean, if you don't believe me, go and look up some people who know about it. Look up people who have been studying this stuff or been a part of it or whatever, and they're now coming clean on it. This is obviously real stuff. I get tired of people like, oh, well, that's you're schizophrenic or something. No, I'm not. They're trying to make us all be schizophrenic, but I'm not. Right? So the most horrible thing, like I know you get some that we say that black, some kinfolk ain't all skin folk, and I've had black people sabotage me, other black people sabotage me, black men not even look at me or whatever, and that's fine. I'm I'm fine with that, but for some reason I have seen, and I saw it in somebody else that I passed, that dead look, like you look like literally the Walking Dead, like a Michael Jackson Thriller when they did the Thriller, and you had the black people that were dressed up in the makeup. That's what a lot of these black people that I'm seeing are looking like. They're looking dingy. They're looking like they need, like, if you I do Photoshop and After Effects and stuff like this, like working on film and photos, and to make them look prettier, to make the image pop. That's what she looked like. Looked like somebody needed to make her skin pop. And she had, it wasn't like pimples or anything, but it was just like, not just like small little bumps, like as if you would see those things on somebody who had been poisoned. And just the look in her eyes were just full of master's rage, you know and I was I was hurt, because I was like, oh my god, dude, like, I've never seen that before. I've never seen it so close up and so vivid, as dull as her skin was. I mean, she looked tired. Like, I looked at her and I was like, did you just get to work or what? You know what I mean? Like, she wasn't dolled up. She wasn't, no makeup. You don't have to wear makeup. But she didn't have that presence that I saw when I first got here with the company, you know? And not to say anything that I think that when she was telling me that I needed just to work and not take things personal for a paycheck, then, and I was pointing out to them, see, because housing is being used as a weapon and a bargaining tool, right? Or, a form of bribery in a sense. Like, you'll get housing if you just allow us to do whatever we want to do with you and say whatever you want to say to us, say whatever we want to say to you, right? Like, they had brought up something where a lady was saying, "Oh, Tennille said this to me, and da 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 da." And I told the account manager, I don't hang out in sandboxes. I don't deal with adult babies. I'm the one that told them I just come here to work and for a paycheck. But the fact of the matter is, because people are hungry for energy and they're addicted to drama, and a lot of them are paranoid because they're doing things. I mean, the last place that I worked, the supervisor there was sleeping with the county members. he would, you know, you had one person two sets of couples, and one of them was sleeping with each other in the, I mean, like, and then they wouldn't be at their post. So, and and then these guys are telling me, it's like, oh, you know, we don't know that, but that's not my job. I am here literally to get a paycheck, not to deal with adult babies who are offended whenever somebody gets a whiff of what they really are doing. The last post I saw, I heard, it was none of my business. I thought, okay, good, you know, let me keep moving, let me keep walking around. But then you'd always have people come up and try and do something. Not everybody wants to work a graveyard shift, right? But when people like that, so basically, my situation was having people in being in an environment where that was toxic, whether you point the toxicity out or not, when they know that you are psychically aware of that, when they know that you can tell the difference, you're a threat no matter what. You're a threat no matter what. And they will sabotage you. The thing that was and I, you know, the Most High God said, that's why I went on, you know, finally I was debating. I was like, oh gosh, you know, my hours, I didn't know how I was going to pull off working 2 jobs, you know, even part-time. Like, you know, I'm on public transportation and I didn't have the money for a lift. So I had no idea how I was going to do it. But I had to be obedient, and God said, get another job. Right? And right now, if I would have done that 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I wouldn't be homeless now. You know, so I have some scheduled videos. You guys like them and at least boost them up. You know, I mean, I'm not going to get any money off of them, of course, but, you know, boost it up. Because my purpose was to show, you know, to give back what I had learned. Right? So anyway, so now they're using jobs and people, you know, are being put in positions to have control over whether somebody stays or goes. These guys had cared nothing whether I was going to be homeless or not. Nothing. They didn't give a shit. And really, I didn't bring it up to them this time. You know, and unfortunately for me, it's triggering because it's like, okay, this was the calm before. This was the this was the slow descent into homelessness the first time. It's feeling quite familiar, and I'm triggered. Right, my stomach is all out of whack. I can barely eat. I can barely focus. You know, I do the best that I can. So if this podcast isn't coming out like some of the others, this is why. But I just decided that if anything happens to me, then, you know, I've left something behind. My mom, before she passed, she wanted, you know, she told me she wanted to write a book about her life. She was also spiritually inclined and able to see spirits and whatnot. She was not schizophrenic. My mom had endured generations of sexual trauma. And she didn't get to talk. So when we're not able to talk about what it is that we're going through, and that sticks with us, and then people want to label us something when it's a spiritual malady. It's not that it's a spiritual malady that turns into a physical malady, right? But you've got to attack the spirit. One of the trainers that I met while I was at this last job, and we were talking and whatnot, he said he said something totally different. Whereas most trainers will say it's 80% what you eat and 20% of what you think. And he said, no, all of it is about what you're feeling. It's about your emotions. You know? Because I cannot eat or eat like I'm still eating. I still eat mostly vegetables. I don't do fruits a lot, but I do mostly that's the only fruits that I do is when I'm having a smoothie to just kind of sweeten it up a little bit. But most of the time I'm eat healthy. But you could not tell that but when you are constantly under attack, our body will blow up because it's going in through fight or flight. Imagine somebody who fasts for 30 days, but they're gaining weight because why? If somebody is projecting evil towards them and they don't know that it's happening, at least I know that it's happening. You know? So yeah, but then so the black zombie thing, I've just seen that like that these guys that, other black people who, I mean, and some women that I'm trying to help, who've just kind of given up themselves to be used against other blacks. And that, so it reminds me of Judas. It reminds me of the slave days where, the master would use other slaves to whip and beat other slaves who were he considered or she considered to be out of line. And I was reading Bell Hooks' Black People in Love, and in there, and even in Ain't I a Woman, in those books, she had mentioned in different ways that a lot of times when black folks were like that, they had to be separated because the other black folks were like, we can't deal with you. You just beat us. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot. This is why we have to work on our generational curses. This is why we have to break those. We have to recognize them. We have to know where they came from, and then we have to dissolve them out of us. We have to be that change. Jordan Neely died, and everybody is using his death for likes, subscribes, and shares. How many of these people are posting him just to be monetized? And I think with Black Zombie, I mean that there is no more Black power. There is no more Black unity. There is no more Black community. I would like to have one for Phoenix's Rising Academy for Black lesbians, Black, trans women especially, to be able to talk about this and to go through the process of healing. But it doesn't seem like that a lot of people want it. And then I've already talked about the gang stalking and the witchcraft, but I think it's just the Jordan Neely really broke my heart, because not only was it a white guy was choking him and another black guy was restraining him so he could not protect himself, and his veins, you look at any of the videos, his veins are popping out, and this guy, I don't know what he's saying to him, but he's looking him directly in his eyes. How could you hold somebody hostage and look into his eyes and watch the life, because you saw it, we could see when he died. And nobody is affected by that. Nobody. Nobody cares. How can you not care? I saw it and I cried. I got mad. All he wanted was to eat and to feel safe and to feel loved. And in this day and age, that's not what people want. People can't even hold down conversations. You want to have a real, like me, I like to have real conversations. People get annoyed by that. I've learned that since I've been where I'm at. I've learned that. Like I was at work the other day, and people they're kind of nice. They don't want to really and I have to get back into the thing of conversation with the other people. I have to get back into the swing of things, get that vibe back, because I don't do it very much. I haven't done it very much because why? I was being gang stalked, and everybody that I talked to, somebody was told something negative about. The reason why we're going to be homeless, me and my pups are going to be homeless, is because somebody talked to somebody, and then they decided not to rent to me right when I had gotten the funding. That, if that is not sabotage, I don't know what else it is. I don't know what else it is if that's not sabotage. Filled out everything, guys telling me, oh yes, it's okay, it's okay. Let's go. Okay, I'll get that paperwork right to you. He could have told me whatever, but instead he decided to wait right when it was coming and sabotage me. I had been talking to this guy for 3 weeks about the SRO and da 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 da. So that's what I'm saying, Phoenix, is it's not, most of the time, move over on the bed, baby. Sorry. Most of the time, it's not that we're not doing anything right. It's that we're doing everything right, and we are still a threat. Somehow, I'm still a threat. Somehow, I'm still a threat, and and it's exhausting. My heart is hurt because I had a purpose. I thought, okay, this here it is. Here we go. And the other thing I want to say before I end this thing, and I started to and I didn't finish, so forgive me about it. But the thing about it is I was starting to get so depressed, and I've been keeping myself out of depression. So I've been saying a lot of prayers, a lot of mantra. I have no idea what's going to happen. All I know is that there's still time for miracles. There's still time for miracles because I've done everything. I can't even work the new job. See, when people sabotage you, it's a domino effect. You know, people sabotage you, and so now I can't even work the two new jobs that I got because I'm not going to, my babes aren't going to be able to be in a shelter by themselves with other people. Like, where do they do that at? Shelters are, there's been told that there are shelters that will, house me and the dogs, but there's a limit or whatever, and I'm tired of it. See, that's another bargaining tool. And see, when people think that you are too mouthy, when you are too confident in yourself, and really right now I don't feel confident at all. I feel like crap. I feel like crap because after I get done with this, I am going to cry, and I'm going just to let as much of this crap that I feel inside of my soul out. And I'm going to get up tomorrow, do whatever I got to do, and I'm going to walk the streets because that's all I can do. That's all that I can do. That's all that I can do. And here, this is somebody who, if you guys have read or listened to any of my podcasts, I mean, there's been a growth in my channel. I had to be authentic. I couldn't be prescribed. I know that a lot of people are like, we liked you before. We like the way it's set up. To me, it's still a podcast. But because especially being sabotaged and having to deal with stalkers, the gang stalking and the witchcraft. I mean, there were times, Phoenix is Rising, that I didn't think that I was going to wake up in the morning. Somebody just does not want me to get my story out. There's a go here if you guys want to watch a little bit of what I was going through. I was just getting those 9 videos up, and I was just getting to the good part. Not the good part, but as I've trained in filmmaking, and so when you're going through the first act, quote unquote, you're getting to know everybody and da 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 da. It's you know kind of slow. Some of it, sometimes it starts real. The action starts off really fast, but not in this. Like, I'm just literally going in chronological order with an artistic spin on it. But I was just starting to get into the people that I had met and what they were doing. Like, people, like I had women. This is why I'm focused on lesbians, because a lot of times you have women who are sex offenders. I had a white couple. They weren't a couple, but she propositioned to have sex with me. One of the roommates propositioned to have sex with me, and I was so uncomfortable. I mean, I was really uncomfortable with that because I just wanted to talk. I'm a talker. I'm not really like, sex is like way down the line. You know what I mean? If you can't make love to me intellectually, I don't want to deal with you. Like, there's just nothing happening. I mean, there's really not going to be, because I'm an emotional person, and what gets me is intellect. And it doesn't mean that, I mean, I was considered an intellect, but I haven't read a book in, like, like I used to. I used to read like 3 books a month, and I'm going slow because I like to absorb what I'm reading. I don't read just for my for entertainment. I read for my spiritual growth. You feel me? Um, so I forgot why I was saying that, but yeah, So the people wanting to sleep with me, or wanting, if I shut down and I didn't talk, I was blocking my energy, so they couldn't siphon anything from me. That's what I learned. And I was like, okay, I got done with it, because it's like I would have people sabotage me. The thing of it is, when people know that you love yourself, irregardless of your circumstances, they try and break you down even more. When people know that you love yourself, regardless of whether you're homeless, regardless of whether you get Section 8, regardless of whatever your status is, you're not going to fall into shame and guilt. They try and create trauma. They try and create a trauma bond with you, because to them, you're too big for your britches and you've embarrassed them. The lady at the hotel was presenting herself as being the manager until I asked the manager, who's the manager? And she said, I am. I said, well, that you wouldn't, couldn't tell. She goes, yeah, there's a lot of confusion about who's the manager. Really? And you allow that? You know? So that's what I learned on the streets. It's like, and they want to break you down. Right now, a lot of people are there's a lot of you got people who have monetized blackness and black sorrow. Normally black male creators. That's what I see it a lot. I see it in black female creators too, but mostly I would say majority of it is black males, but you only accept this part of your blackness because you can weaponize it, you can silence people, and then you can make money off of it. You're making money off the fact that you're biologically, I can say that, biologically black, but you don't want to be. That's called internalized racism, right? Um, so anyway, um, yeah. So the last thing I was going to say was about the Most High God. And I had to have a God talk, like, and that is something that the devil will, these demons, these people who have made these sacrifices or whatever to whoever, is that they want you to lose your faith. If you lose your faith, if you lose hope, they got you. And I told the Most High today, I said, I don't know, what else could I have done? And it was pointed out to me, the procrastination. Because the Most High God knows I'm a realist. I'm learning from everything that I do. Because my energy, it's not my blood, it's my energetic cord, right? It's my energy in general. That is my bloodline. I am made up of everybody who came before me, that came through the seed that was, that penetrated the egg, right? So you get fertilized. That's everybody. That's my tree right there. That's everybody that came before me, everybody who prayed, everybody who saw that I was coming through the womb, right? Like Isa, people say, oh my gosh, there's one coming greater than I, and da 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 da. One thing that got me is that when Jesus was born after the guy, I forgot his name, the guy in the uh, camel skins and eating honey and locusts and stuff, right? So I mean, but they both met at the same time, so it was weird because they were both. So anyway, I guess that's just some. Because how could you? Because I was under the impression that dude was older than Ether, so I guess not, according to some versions. But it is what it is. But and they want you to get mad at the Most High God, but it's not the Most High God. So what I've learned about the Most High God through all of this, right, is that we, and it's brutal. It's brutal. This warfare is brutal. It's brutal, the attacks that are being perpetrated on chosen, on the earth angels, on people who have a purpose for this time. They were born for such a time as this. It's brutal because I'm telling you by personal experience, you know. But one thing, it's not the Most High God. And I know because I asked him, I said, well, why would you know this cuckoo bird is after me? Why wouldn't you break her down? One thing that the Most High God said, he gave me, he said at one point in time, because they were planning on robbing me and doing some other stuff to me, and I caught wind of it. God was like, well, if they do, handle it. That was the only time. It's not that I haven't seen my stalkers and wanted to go off on them. The Most High, the Most High had to keep me from it because, and one thing that he said in a nutshell, it's not just about you. It's not just about you. It's about everybody that has been hurt by these people. Like everybody who's come through my bloodline before me who didn't take up the charge or only got halfway, I'm saddened because I didn't put forth to manifest an ending like this in my life. Right? I didn't put that forth. But again, when you're dealing with cluster B personalities, they have to snuff out your light. I remember Olga Texador looking at somebody that she was getting, who ended up stalking me with her, or her with me, or whatever, however you say that. They ended up getting together, and because she was actually with a married woman, I guess that truth finally came out by accident. But anyway, sorry, like I said, the emotions are there. But there are more people that she has hurt, basically. There's more people, there are more people who deserve justice. So I have to see this through. I cannot be disobedient, even if I wanted to, which means I cannot afford to be too depressed. I can cry, I can get angry, but not belligerent. You see what I'm saying? I can't keep, that's why I've cleared my chakras. That's why I'm praying. That's why I'm saying my mantras, to keep that channel open, because right now they want to close this. So a lot of times these guys want to close us down through alcohol, through fear. You may be living with a cluster B personality, you're all peaceful, and all of a sudden they start some shit, right? Excuse my language. They want to start some stuff with you because you're too calm, you're too peaceful, you're too centered, you're too content with your own power. I am that person, and too many times people think that you need to be humbled. They think that somebody like me needs to be humbled instead of telling my truth, right? There were some Hispanic males who had asked me, and they had said, hi, I don't talk to people that I don't know. If you're not working with me and I don't have to be cordial to you, I'm not going to be. That's the way that I am right now. Because too many times, has it been like a bait and switch thing. And one thing that was a red flag. See, I see things in a different way than people. I see my world in a different way, right? So I had already peeped this dude focused. I could feel the focus. And this guy, I've heard him say, "Oh yeah," and he tried to say hi to me, and I'm like, why would you go out of your way to say hi to me? Like, he was literally going in another direction towards the office, and I was walking towards the trolley. I'm minding my own business, headphones in, making sure my cap is good to go, on my way. And all of a sudden, here he is, hey. And I heard him. I just ignored him. And he said, oh, no, I don't know why would you try and start? You see what I'm saying? So things that seem benign sometimes are not benign, Phoenixes. A cluster B personality, the reason why cluster B personalities, that whole cocktail, gets away with the sick, savage, perverse crap that they do is because they are always under the radar, and they, even though they're antisocial, because it's a cocktail, they can switch in between demons, and they'll be the poster child for the best, you know, uh, for the best citizen. And they're always keeping up on the trends. I stopped keeping up on the trends because they're not trends. It's just something disgusting now. It's confusion now. Right? The the music I don't even like. I never even thought that I would say that because I come from a generation where we had good music. I mean, that music was teaching us something for those of us who were abandoned and had to raise ourselves because not even an orphanage wanted us. Come on now. I don't even reckon some of this music I don't even like because they all sound the same. They all look like Muppets. So of course my natural features are going to be grotesque to a lot of people. You know? But that's what the Most High God said. So I mean, I know you guys are like, well, maybe because maybe if you didn't pray enough, maybe you did. And I did bring this up to the Most High God. I said, you know what? I said the reason why I've gained so much weight is because I ended up going from intermittent fasting to starving because I was being attacked so much. How you guys don't understand how people stalking you to work, stalking you during work, stalking you from work. I had people setting birds outside of my job because they knew that I would take this bat, this certain way, and I'd go and patrol the lot. And at one of my sites, and they'd put a BB ball, right next to a dead bird. This didn't happen once; it happened several times. The other times there was a actual bullet. One time I saw Olga Texador across the street in a black car, the same black car. She would have people watching me. One time she was in a, you know what I mean? She was in a different car and she swung around because she was going to try and shoot me with the BB gun. And I noticed that every time I got off work and I started walking, this same vehicle would be pulling up at almost the same time. So, we have to put everything into perspective, but housing has been weaponized to condition people to assimilate into this new world order indoctrination. Black people are becoming zombies, and gang stalking is kind of fading out because it's done what it's caused the psychological trauma that it was meant to cause. But it's also these guys aren't getting paid as much as they was getting paid before. What is that? Okay. Sorry, I'm talking to my dog. Like, what are you doing? And witchcraft is still abound. Witchcraft doesn't have to be boiling trouble and going over a kettle. Witchcraft can be slandering somebody, right? You're not telling the truth. When I talked about a co-worker and I told her to her face first before I told everybody else because I wanted her to know that I see you, dude. And you're snuggling up against these black women, and some of them may be stepping fetchers, but you're snuggling up against these, and I wouldn't feel right not saying anything, right? So she heard me loud and clear, but she just knew she couldn't say anything. But it's like, don't talk in somebody's face and be all nice and then talk about them and their kids. Very disgusting. But that, there's different types of witchcraft. There's, holding negative space is witchcraft because you don't want that positivity to come in because it's not being done by you or somebody, or somebody just doesn't, where did that go? Or they're not the center of attention. You feel me? A lot of people they will hold negative space when they are not the center of attention. I have a nugget out there where I'm saying it's like, we're dealing with adult babies working with big boy toys. So witchcraft cover, there's word witchery. When somebody is speaking ill over your life, speaking ill over you. They don't have to be a witch, they don't have to be a warlock, but you know, if you're listening to somebody who is not supporting you, I'm a realist. So if you're saying, well, you know, you might want to do such and such and such first, you know, go look at that, right? Then that's something that's positive. But when you're saying, oh, you ain't never going to do that, you know, that's not out of your pay grade. Once you go to something like this and this and this, that's somebody who's trying to get you off of your purpose and off of your path. There are many roads to it, but the road, you got to go to the divine. And if the divine's told you opposite, then you need to stay with that. That's the reason why I don't talk to a lot of people, right? Because there's a lot of people, when they first meet me, they either get irritated or they get happy. You know, they either get irritated or they get happy when they meet me in my energy. People meet your energy before they meet you. And don't ask me why people get jealous. You know, just it's not that I don't have any riches other than spiritual gifts that I've been using. And I noticed that when I'm in an environment that is extremely toxic, after a while, it does not take long for me. There was one time at the last site that I was at that I kind of saw, I turned around and there was a couple people and I saw, if you guys have ever seen Devil's Advocate, where one of the ladies, there's a lady and there's a scene where the lady and she's talking to Theron, her character, and her face changes into a demon, more demonic, scales and everything, color changes, everything else, right? And that's what I saw. You know, I didn't see, it wasn't like that full on change, but it was just kind of like an aura of evil, you know, and it was weird. And I was like, oh God, here we go, you know? So it's not easy being a spiritual being, seeing the world with spiritual eyes. My spiritual mom told me, you got to see this world with spiritual eyes. You got to hear with your spiritual ears, and you got to, you know, speak from you know, your soul. You got to speak from what the Holy Spirit says. And I've always taken that, you know. So it's been really hard, especially now when I need some guidance from the Most High God, right? Like I've done literally everything that I can. And I said this in another nugget. I said, when you've done all you can, all you can do is stand. Like I got a job, I did this, I did that. I had the job sabotaging me. I had coworkers and sabotaging me, and you know, not saying that I didn't do anything wrong, because I did, and I admitted it. You know, I got it written up actually. You know, on one site, on both sites I got written up. But I mean, you know, and when I started realizing that they were using it just to get, because basically at the first site, in some security places, the supervisors have to write up because it's quota. We're not cops, so that doesn't make any damn sense to me. You know what I mean? Like I've never had that. And I told them when I went up there for the meeting, when we had a meeting, I said, I worked in security 6 years before coming here, you know, or no, 5 years before coming here. Yeah, about 5 years. And I said I had basic problems. Wasn't saying, like, again, I'm not a goody two shoes. I'd be on my phone, or I, you know, wouldn't have the proper, you know, attire on. Sometimes I wouldn't even tuck my shirt in because I was working so much. I was like, I don't care anymore, dude. You know. But I also worked graveyard, you know. But I would fluctuate from working graveyard, you know, and working night shift or or swing or morning. So I was like, this only since I've been here, and because this is a whole different ballgame. These guys like to. There are some places that you will work for that thrive off of drama, and it becomes a pattern. And when you, like, I refuse to participate. I stopped signing anything that they were writing me up for. Number one, because it's not legal. Number two, because you thought that it was being used as a form of control. You know, it's being just like housing. Housing is used as a form of control. If I can't work, right, then I can't eat. And it's not even if if I can't work, I can't put a roof over my head. Be it a car, be it a motel, be it in, you know, a house or a tent. You know, they want people out there on the streets because then you're pliable. Because people think that some of us, people like me, who speak their mind, are too uppity. We're going back to that now. It's either we're unalived or we're made homeless, and people sit there and poke fun of us then. You know? So anyway, I'm done. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the night and pack my stuff. So please enjoy the what is it called? The nuggets that I have. They're kind of scheduled out, so that way you guys have something. If you guys would like to donate, my cash app is down there, or you can go through to the link tree. I would appreciate it. You know, everything helps. Please like and subscribe if anything that I've said resonates with you. I always keep these lives up, so you can always go back or whatever. And some of them I splice. So yeah, hopefully I'll have some good news for you guys because I had planned on launching the 8-week program from sealed to healed, but that's going to be postponed yet again. So maybe one of these times we'll get to it, but right now it's a lot going on. And you know what, if you guys are going through something, keep your head up. You know, make sure that you have because sometimes the only support that you have is you, right? The only support that you have is you. The Cash App is, or you could just go to my link tree in my in the front page if you want to. But yeah, so it's been a wild run, but just don't give up. You know, I know this is I've been feeling emotional, my because you know, facing homelessness again myself after 3 years of being off the streets. You know, because of somebody who does not. I mean, literally because somebody does not believe that we deserve to be great, and that's why a lot of people give up. Because people don't understand. It's like the cognitive dissonance kicks in. It's like, how could there be people out there who don't like you? How can there be people out there who don't like you to the extent that they want to unalive you? How can there be people out there that don't like you to the extent that you've never done anything that to the extent that they not just want to unalive you, but they want to make you suffer, and they're going to get off on your suffering until you take your last breath? All because they got a narcissistic wound, because they were rejected, right? I didn't even think about it, but when the guys were like, you know, were trying to say hi to me or whatever, and I ignored them and kept on. I had one guy who, you know, he'd always make a comment. He's made the same comments, and I ignore him because I don't know him. You don't have to talk to anybody that you don't know. It's not rude. If I don't know you, I'm not talking to you. You're not putting money in my pocket. You're not providing me with housing. You're not providing me with a job. You're not providing me with any resources that can help and move me forward in my purpose. I am not obligated to say anything. And a lot of people think that that's harsh. But how many people are picked up because they didn't want to be rude to somebody that they should have been rude to, should have trusted their intuition to? And now that person is found in a shallow grave somewhere. Or that person is now homeless and in debt because they shouldn't have talked to somebody, or shouldn't have gone against their own intuition. See, a lot of times the Most High God the intuition is God. And when you're not listening to it, then you're not listening to God. You know, I was listening, I just was procrastinating, right? So that was my fault. I should have gotten it when I got it. I don't know what would have happened. I may have been able to extend my stay a little bit longer at the hotel, but or at least extended the stay and been able to get into a shelter. Now we have neither. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that the Most High God won't come through, but is that energy? A lot of people, the Most High God is not a man, is not a person, is not a being. It's a spirit, right? And even though we build up our coffers with our, we not our coffers, but we build up our spiritual bank accounts with the prayer, with the fasting, with the decrees, with the declarations, with the praises, with the gratitude. We build that up, right? It still is in divine timing, right? That's why we have to be obedient. And in a way, I'm kind of happy because that means that because I'll be on the streets, I won't have any food, and so I can fast again. You got to make light out of it somehow. You know, you got to do what you got to do when just to, because I was like, gosh, because at least I can fast and I can get back to a point where I'm hearing clearly. Because honestly, I thought that when we moved to where we're at now, that I would get to rest after such a long battle. That was 9 years. Imagine being gang stalked since 2012, since 2011. Imagine that. And each time as you level up, new level, new devil means that you have to increase your spiritual power. Because they're learning off of you. So when I learned, they learned that they can't do the same things anymore. So now they're going to change up and they're going to go ask somebody, look, this person's doing this. They're going to have that person, because that's what Olga did all the time. That's what Christy did. There's like, I can't take this person on by myself. So I need somebody else. Right? So when you level up, they go and get somebody that's up at a higher demonic level. That's what that means. So that's why. God bless you too. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Yeah. So when you move up, and see, a lot of people don't know that, because we do. It gets exhausting. I thought I was going to be able to have a break, that I was going to be able to heal what needed to be healed and just kind of enjoy the scenery, and because that's the way we started out. But because we had left, this person thinks that when you're dealing with narcissists, who have this ideal for your life, right? Because to them, you're in a relationship, whether you want to be or not, right? And so, unfortunately, this person just went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, um, but fortunately, they're more afraid of me than I will ever be of them. But that just fuels them even more, because when you have a grandiose sense of self, you want to win at all costs. As I've said, that this is what narcissists do. But you have to keep up your spiritual practice no matter what. Yes, you're going to get exhausted. I've called on the Most High God to intervene. My spiritual teacher used to say, look, when you can't have it, give your angels and guides permission to come in on your behalf. When it gets overwhelming, call on them more, right? And that's another thing, that sometimes we get so used to being in the battle because it feels like we're like by ourselves, because we're getting a lot of the attacks. And even though we are being protected, and I guarantee that most of the stuff that these witches, these warlocks, and these demons, whatever the hell, have sent my way, like I've seen literally skeletons. I think they sent them where they to me. That was the trippy part. Like, they sent that bag of bones, and she literally is just a bag of bones. That's all she is. She was a creation from the Catholic Church. It's not real, but what you put into it, though. You see? So I've seen her, and that's something that they'll conjure up to try and I think it's to monitor me or something. But anyway, love you guys. Thank you for listening. Hopefully this helps somebody. I know I'm a little bit off because of like I said, I'm facing homelessness myself, and it's not good, and it's a very scary situation, but we'll get through it. So Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for um, listening. And if you can, go to Blue Phoenix Rising Media LLC. That's my other YouTube page, also on which has some of the documentary, I believe, on it. And but I decided to put it more on my um, Phoenix's Rising Academy on YouTube. So go check that out. There's an actual playlist called Blue Phoenix Rising. Just to get my story out. There's only 9 videos, and because I was having to do some other stuff, I didn't get to finish like I wanted to. But at least some of it's out there. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys so much, so much, so much, so much. If you guys want to book a on Fiverr, get it a 30-minute session, get it off your chest for $40. Please do. Just contact me, DM me or whatever. We'll do a questionnaire. I'll do a quick intake with you to see if we fit, to see if I can, help you. Again, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I am a coach, but like Jordan Neely needed somebody who was going to listen to him, somebody who was willing to help him. All you people there, if there could have been 10 people to give him some food, give him $1, he would have had some food. You feel me? Somebody would have been able to give him a tent. He would have had, at least a little roof over his head, right? Instead of just using him as entertainment. That still makes me mad, but I'm so upset about that because he didn't have to go that way. That's a tragic loss. So anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, your blessings are in your ashes. Ashes, Phoenix. Rise.